Hey, buckaroos, did you ever want to learn to draw good? Well, check this out. What's that? A circle, a thing, a couple of W's, and an M is a pig. Bam! Hey, what's going on here? Oh, I don't know. Oh, you know what that is? That looks like a fish to me. Yeah, you know where you see those swimming around? Backs of cars sometimes. Was this another fish? Ah, no, that's an eye, I can tell. Oh, now what's he doing? A banana? Ah, no, it looks like a mouth now. It must have 100 teeth. It's probably another eye. Nah. Is he scribbling it out? Oh, it's a fuzzy caterpillar. Check it. So each of these things are symbols. They really don't represent reality. They don't take any observation. What they do is they take our mind, which is a big fat liar, and it says, I know what this is. Look at the way that's shaped. Of course, eyes are all shaped like crescents. And we know that they have a small dot in the middle of a big dot, and they're surrounded by these hairy things. See, so that's your mind lying to you. All of those might seem like true statements, but when we really observe an eye, I'll find one to draw here real quick, and this will work. But if we were to look at one of these and attempt to reproduce it, one of the things we might notice is that this eye can be kind of crescent shaped. Notice that it's a little bit longer in this area, that perhaps it comes up like this and back down and then over like this. There was a saying, a way of viewing these things and thinking of eyes almost more as parallelograms and then following some of those shapes. So many times I'll look for the direct angles like that. I'm going to have to decide what's going on here. Oh, notice that there is those round forms in the middle, but they don't necessarily, we're not able to see all of them. When we do something like this, it looks quite surprised, doesn't it? So it's important to hide some of those. Now, I might not be able to see a lot of difference between the dark iris here and the dark pupil, and so if I don't see it, I'm not going to draw it. What I do see is a highlight, which I shouldn't never outline, but I'm going to do this. I see a highlight there, I see a highlight here, and so rather than outlining a highlight, I'm going to give some color to everything around it. And now that's already going to give it a little bit of dimension. By the way, one of the things I'm going to do here, and I'm not a machine, I make mistakes, so I correct those as I go along. When I get to the eyelashes, once again, I'm not imagining anything. So what we're doing now, it's all about observation. And so I'm trying to keep my view mostly on my model. Notice that especially when a woman is using mascara, often her eyelashes are clumped together. And so you might see a few here, some thick ones here, a couple of clumps here. And it's just something that we sort of have trained ourselves to see, you know? Well, no, we haven't trained ourselves. I want to train ourselves now. I want to train us to see that way. That's horrible, isn't it? I feel like I want to keep observing and do some of the, both the other features surrounding it. I want to start showing some of the shadows that surround it. Especially something like this where we have these largely painted on eyebrows. It's very easy to become abstract with those two. I may have chosen the wrong thing here. Our left lobe always says, oh, I know what that is. It's a rubber band. And rubber bands look like this. Bang. But of course, that's not at all what we're seeing right here. And so it's kind of unfair for us to allow our left brain to do that. We know that rubber bands are a loop. I wonder if this is going to go into any interesting shape for me. We know that rubber bands are a loop. But what we have to do is we have to, as we draw, I mean, normally the idea is that we'll look at what we see, and I have a slightly different view than you. I'll try to go through your view, so that we can vary the size of the loops that we see. We can vary the thickness of what we're seeing right there. And so really, our right brain, we're very intent on observation. So I'm going to talk about a lot about our observational skills, the way that we can see, for instance, when I look at this, I can tell that that line is sort of heading in this direction. I can imitate it, I can measure it, and I can do it this way. I can decide, is this loop higher than this loop? If I go this way, oh gosh, it is, look at that. If I measure it, I see, and especially straight up, I can see that it's going to come out much further, maybe even out to here. And then there's all these things that I can do, which have to do with proportion and relation. This was about direction or angles. And there's a lot we can do with quality of line too. So this whole thing, this unit, is going to be about dumb exercises that help us to do that. But the reason I call them dumb exercises is because they happen in ways that are not necessarily, we're not going to have the best drawing ever. Now, one thing you might have noticed right there, this is a three-dimensional object, and I was trying to draw it in 2 dimensions. That's really difficult. An easier way for us to go might be to find a photo, because now we're working with a 2-dimensional image, and we're going to try to put it down on a 2-dimensional surface. The first trick that I'm going to show you, or the first exercise. Now remember, this isn't going to look like the best drawing in the world. It's not going to be a Leonardo. It's oh well, I should draw a shoe. I'm going to draw that shoe. I'm going to tear it out because I just can't make it lay flat. But I wanted you to see that if I was going to draw from this, then this first one that we do is called a continuous line. That is, once my tool hits the paper, I'm going to keep making lines until I feel like I'm done with the drawing, and I'm not going to lift the tool off. So sometimes my lines will be going across. Sometimes I'll make lines that represent the shadows. You know, there's a shadow right here, very subtly going through there. Maybe there's even a little hint of the reflection on this shiny leather of that leather up there. I'm just going to start drawing, and that looks something like this. I'm going to start anywhere, and what I'm doing, I'm making a mark. Good. I'm coming up here. Now notice that I'm working kind of quick, and I know that some of these marks might be wrong, but you know me, you know that I make mistakes all the time. Oh, you should ask my woman. Oh, she's going crazy having to live with me. She said, do you have any idea why you do that stuff? And I say, not a clue, honey. She goes, are you going to stop making dumb mistakes, doing dumb things? And I say, well, I'm Haran, so probably not. All right, so notice that what I'm doing here is I haven't picked up my pencil, and I'm just making these marks. If I want to draw 2 sides of this strap, oh shoot, you see what I did? I started drawing what my mind knows, what my mind was telling me, instead of what I actually see. So here I go. I see this is very dark. So notice that I'm restating some of these things, and I'm getting closer and closer every time. This is actually kind of looking like a shoe. Now when I do this, and I'm kind of a fast drawer, right? But when I do this, oh, this part, ooh, that's going to be hard. And then I come up here. Bam. I'm going to stop here because I want you to show you how that looks different. I mean, it's not a great drawing. It's not a shoe. I don't think it's going to be my retirement selling this one. But what we do a lot of times is as soon as we say shoe, we immediately do this thing where we go, oh yeah, I know what a shoe looks like. And it's like this, and then we draw this thing that we've been drawing since we were in elementary school, and it might not look like the shoe that's in front of us. And then we'll say, oh no, I can do it. I know what that is. I see what you mean. That's a wedge. So I'm going to do this. And then it has some straps on it. And then it has this part that's all braided. And then we start going, ooh, that's pretty. But you see how I'm not actually looking at what's there. So I'm making crap up. And that's kind of what we don't want to do. And I'll give you a quick more examples. Okay. If I was going to look at a person, so the big idea here is that we simply observe, and then we make the marks that we see rather than the ones that we know. I did a drawing earlier of some of the things that I know, like whenever we ask somebody if they would draw a profile of a person, a lot of times they'll do something like this, where they bring it down, and of course the nose sticks out, and then it comes down here, and we all have eyes, and the eyes have a circle in the middle like this. Oh, can't forget the eyelashes, and my person's happy because, well, they get to hang out with me. And so we do something like this. And, oh, don't forget the ear. So, oh, hair. So now, this is kind of a lie that my left brain has been telling me since I was very young. And what we want to do instead of this lie is normally we want to observe something. Now, this is kind of a unique one because her mouth is open. But here's what I'm going to do. If I want to do a continuous line drawing of this, and I know that I'm the best artist in the known universe, I don't expect you guys to do this. It can look like a cartoon as long, I mean, it shouldn't look like a cartoon, but it can look like a scribble as long as you're actually trying. So I'm not let my mind tell me any of those lies, and I'm going to just start drawing. I see that her head starts at an angle like this, and even if I draw through some of the parts, or I don't like it at first, it's okay because I get to keep doing this. Wow, did I just mess her up? And so I see some hair, and so I can actually use that conveniently as a path right there. I'm going to try to draw her eyebrow there. So notice that I don't get too tied up on anything. I'm going to keep going. I am so lost right now. But I'm going to go ahead and draw the nose. Ooh, there's a nostril, and there's the fleshy part, and that was weird. Oh, I got way off, didn't I? But you know what? It's, I'm doing it again and again, and we come up to this. So sometimes we'll do that. We'll draw entirely differently. I literally got lost there, and I see where I got lost now. But the big thing is that now I can see where I am, and now I can get in here. And so what I'm looking for is, you see how there's some shadows, more shadow at the top of the head with a few streaks coming in. So I'm not just making a bunch of lines willy-nilly, because that's what my lion mind is trying to tell me. So instead, I'm trying to keep making lines. That was an accident, I swear it. Oh, look, she has some teeth right here. And then I want to do some more lines on her hair. And, oh, I need to bring her nose back more. And then I see that her forehead comes back. So that's not bad, not bad. I'm going to try to get down here and do a little bit more. I got that. I made her eye really big, didn't I? So I can make that a little smaller. Shabong. Yay. So you see what I did. I didn't draw any extra out here because
this ends over here, and so since I don't see it, I don't draw it. But did you see how I really didn't pick this up? Now, if I wanted, and I was noticing her makeup, which is subtle, bless her heart, you know, I could have actually got in here if I saw that she was using a lot of contouring, and I could have, you know, followed the shape of her makeup there. I could follow the shape of her jawline and do a lot of those things, but that might not be important. Does this make sense so far? Now, working with 2 dimensions, a 2-dimensional image is going to be a little bit easier for you guys. And so, what you can do, I know we don't all have phones, but hey, that's me. I am going to just, I don't think I can embarrass myself here. So you're seeing this at the same time that I am. By the way, I stopped by the school and photographed a bunch of your artwork. I'm going to put it up on social media. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to, you know what? I see a picture of a buffalo, and you know that I like to do wildlife stuff. So once again, I'm going to put this down. Now you can do it with pencil if you want. I always do pen because it keeps me honest. And you got to blow through some paper sometimes. So if you don't have a sketchbook, it's okay to use line paper. If you're blowing through too much line paper and your mom tells you no, if you can find anything, an old newspaper, maybe I'll do it on this old calendar right now, because I don't think I'm going back to these days, and this should be fun. Check it, yo. So here I go. I'm going to start. I'm going to do a marker because I don't know if a pencil will work here. So I'm working with my marker, and I'm just keeping my hand on the page. Look at me go. It doesn't have to be perfect. Notice I went back and forth. There's a lot of things going on there that I don't even know. And you know what? If it's all dark and I can't see any of the details, I'm not going to draw any of the details. So I see that there is a horn right there. And I can get in here. Oh man, this is falling to pieces, isn't it? This is probably good. I can pretend like I'm messing up on purpose, but really it's just messing up. Oh, this is bad. There's a tail hanging down another leg, and then here's this, and I think that it needs something. Maybe I'll come higher. This is just a mess. Now remember that you don't have to go as fast as I do, but that is the idea. Are you with me? I hope you're with me. Oh, look at this. April 20th is on a Saturday. Oh, this year. Oh, no, this is 1996. Oh, my goodness. Somebody's here.